We all know love can make you do some crazy things, but killing in the name of love is a whole other story. Every day there are plenty of murders committed out of passion, jealousy, and obsession. It's truly hard for the average person to wrap their brains around murdering anyone. Here are the 5 worst killings committed in the name of love. Number 1. In March 2007, McLean committed a murder out of love in an effort to save his marriage. McLean shot and killed 18-year-old Sean Powell, who was having an affair with his wife. McLean claimed he accidentally killed the young boy when he was waiting in his car outside of McLean's house so that he could see his former high school student teacher and married lover. McLean felt that Powell was stalking his wife, and when he refused to leave his property, McLean threatened him with a rifle by pointing it at him inside the car. Then Powell grabbed the barrel of the gun and McLean accidentally shot him. McLean called 911 and admitted to killing Powell. Although prosecutors pinned McLean as a cold-blooded killer, his defense was strong. In 2008, McLean was convicted of reckless homicide with probation, and in 2009, he won a custody battle over his sons. Number 2. Els Klotmans and Els Van Doren had more in common than just their love for skydiving. The 2 Belgian women also shared a lover, Dutchman Marcel Summers. On November 18, 2006, Klotmans and Van Doren and a plane full of skydivers went for a jump over eastern Belgium at 30,000 feet. Van Doren jumped a second too late and did not participate in airborne stunts with the others. But when it was time to open the parachutes, Van Doren's parachute and safety chute did not open, and she plunged to her death. It became apparent that Klotmans was a suspect when she tried to kill herself hours before talking to the police for the second time. She sent anonymous letters to Van Doren's husband, made anonymous phone calls to Summers, and attempted suicide before trial. The parachute bag and helmet that Van Doren wore that day were investigated and used in court as evidence that the equipment had been tampered with. Video footage from a camera mounted on Van Doren's helmet was viewed in court as well. In October 2010, the jury agreed Klotmans killed her out of jealousy and with hopes to have Summers all to herself. They found her guilty of the murder, and she was sentenced to 30 years in prison. Number 3. Girls have fought for boys' attention for the longest time, but catfights that turn deadly don't usually happen to teenagers. Florida teens Sarah Ludman and Rachel Wade knew about this all too well. The 2 girls had been fighting over 19-year-old Josh Camacho, who was 2-timing them for months. Ludman and Wade had it out for one another, participating in vicious taunts and harassing text messages, voicemails, and Facebook posts that led to the final fight. In April 2009, Ludeman received a violent threat from Wade that was left on her voicemail. Wade threatened to murder Sarah in the message. Ludeman and her friends got in her father's minivan to go fight Wade, but she wasn't aware that Wade was armed. The 2 girls charged each other, and Wade pulled out a steak knife and began stabbing Ludeman, eventually piercing her heart and killing her. Wade's attorney claimed that she brought the steak knife as a means of self-defense, but the jury didn't buy it. In September 2010, Wade was found guilty of second-degree murder and was sentenced to 27 years in prison. Number 4. Things can get deadly when 2 women are fighting over a man. This was the case for Shauna Nelson and Heather Garris, who both were involved with a Fort Collins, Colorado police officer, Ignacio Garris. Ignacio Garris had a 3-year-long affair with Nelson and even fathered a child with her, but broke things off 1 month before the shooting. On January 23, 2007, Heather Garris was brutally shot execution-style by someone wearing a mask who yelled, "You ruined my life, get on the ground." Soon after Garris was found dead, police immediately started focusing on the only person who would have a motive to kill her, Nelson. DNA tests, gunshot residue matching the tire tracks, and a number of other compelling evidence linked Nelson with the murder. In 2008, Nelson was found guilty of first-degree murder and was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. Number 5. Some love triangle slayings involve more than just the love rifle. In 2009, Joshua Damon Fulgham and his mistress Amelia Carr kidnapped his wife Heather Strong by strapping her to a chair and suffocating her with a plastic bag. The duo then buried Strong's body in the backyard of Carr's mother's home. Her body was discovered about a month later. In 2010, a jury found Carr guilty of first-degree murder and kidnapping and recommended that the Florida woman get the death penalty. Fulgham is on trial for the same charges and awaits his sentencing. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoy the video, please let me know by clicking the like button, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can catch my next video.